Hello and welcome back to San Diego for the WUL Championship Weekend. We are here finally for the first place game between the top two seeds in the WUL. This is Manisha Dariani. I am your play-by-play commentator for today, and I am joined by my co-host.
Hi, I am Jory Moore, and I will be doing the color commentary for this finals game.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm going to use your nickname Mako for today, okay?
No worries.
And I got to tell you, I'm so excited. This is the matchup everyone has been waiting for. This is a matchup we have not seen since the beginning of the season, and now it is the time to dance.
Yeah, I think we've seen Seattle dominating this season, really making a name for themselves with the high score that they've had on other teams, and San Diego Super Bloom being one of those closer games early on in week one and out here to prove that they have grown as a team and they're able to win this championship.
And we really welcome you from wherever you're coming in and tuning in from. Obviously, we have the hometown San Diego Super Bloom playing against Seattle Tempest here to vie for first place here at Championship Weekend. This is the culmination of 4 games that have been played over the course of this weekend. Obviously, the 2 semifinal games that we had yesterday, both with Super Bloom and with Tempest handily winning both of those semifinals, had an incredibly exciting third-place game just before the start of this game, in which Arizona Sidewinders came through with the upset, beating Oregon Onyx. And a very closely matched game, and one hopefully we'll see again here. These are 2 high-octane offenses that really rely on their handler sets. And Mako, you got to tell me, who are the players you think we should be watching?
I think for San Diego Super Bloom, given a couple roster changes, we do have Lindsay Lang on the roster today. She was missed yesterday, and I think if this wind keeps up, that is a handler we definitely want on the O-line, able to move the disc and push through some of the zone looks that Seattle's going to throw. Of course, there's also Alex Diaz, who led with the scores for the weekend with 7 total scores in San Diego's game yesterday.
Certainly a dominating performance by some huge playmakers for San Diego, but let's not overlook Seattle. This roster, top to bottom, is stacked. You look at even just the results from yesterday, Sam Rodenberg doing what Sam Rodenberg does best, which was 4 goals on the day. But let's not overlook players like Lexi Garrity, who you see on your screen here, and Shira Stern. On the stat sheet yesterday, Shira Stern with 2 goals, 1 assist, one of which you see right here. This is the assist where Shira just had this incredible layout in between 3 players, picks up, looks immediately, and hits the easy goal. Players like this are going to show up on the stat sheet, but their value in the middle of the field cannot be understated. Look for Seattle to utilize Stern in the middle of the field to really open it up. And more importantly, let's just think about the defensive prowess that is Seattle. This is a team that earns breaks over and over and over again. But they'll have to contend with what, frankly, is pretty decent weather today. It is hot, y'all. You can't necessarily tell it, but it is 82 degrees. We are very fortunate right now. There's a little bit of overcast, but when those clouds disappear, that turf, it's hot. Mako, you've been down there. Tell me what it feels like.
It is scorching out there. Just walking across the turf earlier, talking to the teams, it's way hotter than Seattle is normally used to, and like you said, that turf really reflects the heat back up for the players. So I think both teams are looking to stay hydrated, avoid those cramps and other heat-related injuries when they're out on the field.
In fact, I actually saw the Seattle players having popsicles before we started this game, again, in a mechanism to just sort of keep cool in this heat. I would even say San Diego's not quite used to these sort of warm temperatures. This is unseasonably warm here. Down in Mira Mesa, we are here again for championship weekend between the number 1 seed, Seattle Tempest, and the number 2 seed, San Diego Super Bloom. Again, you see Alex Diaz on the screen. A monster game for Diaz yesterday. 7 goals, 2 assists for Diaz, leading the weekend for all goals scored from all players. It'll be incredible to see if Diaz can top that performance today. What do you think?
I think Diaz will have to contend with Tempest using a very smart matchup against Diaz to shut down those deep looks, and in the end zone. Diaz definitely stands out in the end zone sets. Let's go down and listen to our observers.
Not tuck your shorts because they had a hard time seeing short numbers yesterday when you were doing stats?
People were rolling their shorts in the heat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, travels, play through the travel calls. It doesn't stop play. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. So we have red, blue. I believe Seattle is the. San Diego, you are the away team. A weirdly away team. So you're gonna call this 3, 2, 1. Cool. Hold on. SDC. You said, sorry? Offense. Cool. You'll take the board. And this is the streets. So you are all on the right side. And you are receiving.
Again, San Diego winning the pull here and choosing to receive. Again, if you are thinking strategically, San Diego wants to start off hot. They want to take a lead and they want to not give it up. They do not want to have to trade goals with Seattle. They would rather try and get an early lead. Again, you can see the opening line, a dangerous line nonetheless. Maldonado also having an excellent game yesterday. Christian Pajunas, a force to be reckoned with. But also Avery Jones, 4 goals, 2 assists yesterday. And again, we're noticing that Lindy Lang not on this line, but a huge asset that San Diego, I'm sure, will be using today. Head coach Angela Wells very excited for this game. And for Tempest, the D-line to start. We are seeing the Kawhi sisters. We mentioned them out yesterday, Hannah and Amy Kawhi. Really both incredible resources for that D-line. A lot of touches. Both of them will be getting this today. But more importantly, Mako, to your point, some defensive matchups that they're going to have to contend with.
Yeah, I think Seattle Tempest is going to try to rattle San Diego Super Bloom's offensive look as soon as possible. They know that San Diego wants to set the pace for this game early on and maintain that pace. So in order to disrupt that, I think they're going to play hard person defense to start and show San Diego that they're going to have to really work for every single throw that comes out of this offense.
This is a matchup of 2 incredibly well-coached rosters, and we are off the first pull of the WL championship game between Seattle Tempest, Super Bloom with the disc to start. Kristen Pajunas already getting the disc in the middle of the field, looking for deep. Looks like there's a mismatch. Kristen Pajunas unable to complete on the deep look. There was clearly a defensive lapse immediately coming out of Tempest, and Super Bloom not able to convert.
Yeah, we saw Avery Jones open out there in space.
Kawhi, okay, picking up the disc, you're going to be seeing that name a lot. The other Kawhi now downfield. This is the younger Kawhi, Amy Kawhi. Seattle Tempest looking to move quickly. That is what they are known for. They're looking to strike deep. Looking for the reset right now. Hannah Kawhi getting the disc. No look downfield. Looking for the reset. Abramovich available for the reset. Back to the elder Kawhi. Looking to the far side of the field, finding an open player. Looking again for a reset at this point. Again, you can already see just from the beginning, this first initial point, the pressure that Super Bloom is generating. Shira Stern now trapped on the sideline, looking for a reset, looking for the elder Kawhi. Not able to throw that off. Throws up a high stall count throw, and there is a contested stall. Seattle not seeing that there's a discussion on the call. Stern now in a conversation on the sideline as to whether or not that was in fact a stall.
Yeah, and we see Salvation on the mark that forced that stall.
So we have a stall. It's contested. Observer ruling it was in fact a stall.
Observer coming in, stepping in, indicating it was a stall. Credit Super Bloom to playing excellent defense and now getting the disc back with a chance to be able to hold in this initial point here for championship game between Seattle Tempest and Super Bloom. This is for first place, y'all. The Kitten and Caputo all here in the next 48 minutes. We have 4 quarters of timed play. We are in quarter 1. This is point 1. San Diego starting from a side stack. Again, Pajunas getting the disc early. Looking off the open receiver. Hitting in the receiver.
Avery Jones looking for Alex Diaz, but covered.
Maldonado holding the disc at this point. Sees the upline strike. Lets it go. Looking for the break. Disc hangs. None of the Super Bloom players are able to catch up to the disc. Seattle now with a chance. Again, Seattle known for its fast breaks. Again, you can already see Amy Kawai having just clawed off basically 15 yards of space just by using their legs. Abranovich now in the open field looking for a receiver, seeing two receivers, Shira Stern, just outside the end zone, about 7 yards. D has finally started to collapse. Now you see a throw, visionary throw coming out of Stern and hitting Ricarte for the break to start this game.
Yeah, a really beautiful shape on that throw from Stern, just able to see exactly where the receiver was in the end zone and put the right amount of touch to go over Salvation. And let's see that turn, the first turn here, just a deep shot, unable to connect to Avery Jones.
And just Maldonado here looking for the reset, just couldn't put the right edge on that throw. As a result, just floated away. Again, here, Shira Stern, you see the disc, so dangerous with this disc, and sort of just recognizing the placement of where the defense was, understanding that they could just put a very nicely thrown outside in flick, giving Seattle the first break of today's game.
We see Chena Tickham here for the pool for Seattle.
Again, not a clean point, but the type of point that Seattle wanted in a game like this. So again, now we are seeing San Diego coming out of that split stack, looking to see if they can hit someone. But Seattle already coming out with that three-person zone. We saw so much of this yesterday. It gave Arizona such a hard time yesterday. And now we see a throw downfield, overshooting Kayla Helton. Seattle with another chance to break.
I think San Diego Super Bloom is feeling the pressure from Seattle Tempest defense.
Chena Tickham picking up the disc, now getting it back. Again, one of their strengths is their ability for their handlers to move upfield. It looks like there was a foul called on the throw. Chena Tickham's throw.
Willis on the mark.
Now again, using the pre-stall allowing players to move before the inlet of play. Chena seeing the reset on the far side of the field. Julia Snyder holding the disc now, looking for Steph Lim, finding Steph Lim. Steph Lim looking deep. That throw goes up. It's hanging. Kayla Helton with the help coming in for the D.
Helton has been a huge force for Bloom in the deep space, just able to come down defensively with those shots.
And now we see Maldonado with the disc, looking to throw deep. Two Seattle Tempest players in the area. The disc is hanging. Hung a little too much. Again, we are seeing these two teams battle. This is only the second point of the game. Chena Tickham picking the disc up, trying to hit Sam Rodenberg. Overthrows, but a Seattle Tempest player able to come down with it. Now looking to reset. And an uncharacteristic overthrow coming out of Seattle Tempest. That was from Cassie Wong, a very sure-handed player, just slightly perhaps misjudged the wind there. Super Bloom now about 30 yards outside the end zone, looking for the inside out break, not seeing it, trying to run their handler set, which does require a lot of up lines. Resetting now to Kayla Helton to the break side. And Kayla Helton getting pickpocketed.
Yeah, that was a great poach by Chena Tickham in the handler space, just knowing exactly where that movement was going to.
And now we see Tempest pretty much at half field. Chena Tickham holding the disc, tries to throw the deep look, calls for two players under, two open players under, good communication between the two. And then we see a deep look to Steph Lim.
And that is a second break for Seattle Tempest. San Diego Super Bloom seems a little shaken against the Tempest defense. I know that offensively, Super Bloom was looking to watch for those poaches and set the pace for this game. I think the coaches are going to talk during this quick changeover between points to make sure that they can maintain those goals.
Now let's be clear, this is still early. Now again, what we're seeing is the Chena Tickham D. Just very good heads up defense coming out, and the great throw from Erheim to Steph Lim for the score.
Seattle Tempest showing that they are a team to look out for on those turns, just able to convert in a quick turn, win on defense, and stay ahead of the other team whenever possible.
And you know what's nice to see also is Steph Lim, who's typically been playing basically at the line of scrimmage, striking deep for Erheim to be able to generate that score. I mean, Tempest, to their credit, I'm sure has made adjustments. You wouldn't know when we ask the coaches. They won't tell us anything. But certainly making some adjustments for today's game, understanding the type of defenses that Super Bloom wants to put. And let's be clear, Super Bloom has a variety of defenses in their back pocket. They need to get on defense, though, in order to be able to execute on them.
Yeah, I know Alicia Stown is hoping to throw as many of their defensive looks as possible. We need to see San Diego Super Bloom's O-line score this point to be able to put on one of their many effective defenses.
And what we saw here, just because we did have a little bit of a longer break, I suspect what happened was a timeout was called between points. Timeouts we have been seeing called usually during points, but certainly knowing how tight the rotation is for Super Bloom, I understand why Super Bloom chose to take the timeout between points so that you could get a player like Kaya Hilton back out on the field. Disc is now center in the field. We are hearing a forced middle coming out of Seattle. Nice cut by Diaz. Diaz now to the far side of the field, looking on the inside, finds the receiver on the inside, finding Hilton now in the middle of the field, about 10 yards outside the end zone. Hilton looking for the end zone set to be run. Maldonado, great inside out look, looking for a reset. Cannot find a player right now. Stall must be getting high. I'm not really sure what the stall is. All right. Maldonado able to get the disc off, and a really nice give-go motion from Maldonado for the first goal for Super Bloom.
Yeah, we see the handler set for Super Bloom's end zone really working on that point with that give and go from Maldonado and Willis for the score. I'm sure Super Bloom feels good now that they have a point on the board and are hoping to throw on one of their defenses and show Seattle that they are to be reckoned with.
Again, just nice, just fundamental offense there. It took a while for San Diego to get organized, but once they got organized, that's what makes them so dangerous. These handlers, these players are so fast. Their first 3 steps are incredible. It gets the separation you need to be able to hit those up lines with confidence. We now see Tempest about to receive the pull. Tempest also starting a bit with a split stack, cutters on both sidelines. They attack one side of the field. You see Christian Bajonas with the mark on. Seattle Tempest tapped on the sideline, nice upline cut. Now looking for the second upline cut. Disc is hanging, but comes down comfortably with it. That was Linnea Sue with the grab.
That was Russell, number 88, with that put.
Russell, a late activation today in place of Paige Lynn, who was unable to play in this game. Seattle coming with extra players so that in the event that a player was unable to play, they could activate a late roster ad. And Jean Russell getting the nod about 45 minutes before today's game.
And just goes to show again the depth of the roster for Seattle Tempest. This is a team that trusts every single one of their players to be a valuable addition to the line. They don't have traditional O and D lines, and that's because all of their players are expected to be well-rounded and able to play whatever is needed of them.
And right now, an early 3-1 start for Tempest. We are just below the halfway mark of the first quarter here for championship game here at the WUL in its inaugural season. Once again, we do see Tempest coming in with that 3-person zone. Again, they relied on this a lot last night, and it's just not surprised that we're seeing it again today. However, I think the difference here is that there's some incredible handlers here on the Super Bloom team. Tempest now out of that zone, playing a person defense at this point. Iwamoto and Maldonado, 2 incredibly savvy handlers.
Willis there.
Coming in nice up line, looking for Diaz deep. Takes 2 defenders with him, nice awareness. Now back to hitting Diaz. Diaz about 10 yards out. Diaz throwing the very cheeky and yet successful upline throw. There's some contact in the end zone, but it does appear to be a Super Bloom score.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a dangerous play, only because Salvation was maintaining her line into the end zone. It didn't really seem to have an eye line on Rodenberg. Let's see a replay of that. We see Salvation to Diaz, and then Diaz quick give and go.
I don't know if that was that Salvation? Yes, it is. My apologies.
We do see Rodenberg trying to pull up at the end there, but not quite able to avoid the contact on that play.
Diaz already making a mark here early in game in the finals here. 1 assist for Diaz, and probably one of many to come.
Yep, assists and most likely goals.
And now we're getting our first look at Lindsay Lang again, a player who's not available for yesterday's game but is available today.
Beautiful pull from Lang.
Cheryl Sue with the disc, now centered back to Sue. Sue on the close sideline to us, looking for the deep look. Pump fakes, sees an under pressure. That's Sal with the disc right now. Oh, and a odd misread by Diaz, but not a turnover per se because it looks like there's a discussion on the throw.
Looks like it might be a foul on the throw, which might make sense given the shape of that.
Okay. Foul called. It's contested. I'm going to leave with you. We're going to come to the observer. Okay. Foul's coming to the observer. Foul was called. I'm going to rule there was no foul. It was a clean hit on the disc.
So it looks like it was actually a hand block by Iwamoto. Per the observer ruling, that was not a foul, and Iwamoto was able to get a hand on the disc, causing it to float up in that weird bladey shape, and now Super Bloom gets another chance.
And a great call by Iwamoto. You lose nothing by going to the observer there. Lang with the disc, picks up, find Diaz in the middle of the field. Diaz striking deep, looking for Kayla Helton. Kayla Helton well defended there against Shira Stern. Assuming that was Stern. Seattle now with the disc, looking for the break. Garrity with the disc. Garrity looking for a reset. Reset back to the middle of the field. Now to the far side of the field. Aria Lozano with the disc. Aria looking for the up line. Nope, centers back to the middle of the field. Garrity now again with the disc. Back to Pham. Back to Sue. Sue uncorks a deep look. Again, 2 defenders in the area. Amy Erickson, though, very tall. Very tall.
Yes, a very tall receiver, most likely why Sue put that deep look up, knowing that Erickson will most likely come down with that. But it does look like she's calling a foul, and it is contested going to observer.
I didn't have a clear view, so we're going to keep it as contested and send it back.
Observer coming in very quickly. We are looking for fast resolution on calls. Observer indicating not having a view on that call, on that disc, sending the disc back to Cheryl Sue. Pre-stall in effect. Sue now looking immediately. Disc in the middle of the field. Now to Pham. Pham hitting Garrity. Garrity now looking for the reset.
And Pajuna's right there for the block. Looks like no call.
Pajuna's trying to just strike deep. Finally comes underneath. Has no one deep right now, but currently also just a little bit unmarked. Looking for the reset now. Finding Helton in the middle of the field. Helton now looking downfield. Resets back to Lang. Lang finding Diaz on the break side. Diaz thought about it.
Holstered instead, kept in by Iwamoto.
Great grab, about 6 yards outside the end zone. Diaz striking up line. And Diaz with their first goal of the game.
There she is with that goal stat on the board. And that was quite a contentious point. And that's like the points we've seen so far in this game. Both teams really working here. Here's a foul call from earlier. Looks like there was a little push in the back, just 2 defenders in that space while Erickson was trying to go up for the disc. And here we see Iwamoto seeing Diaz striking up line for the goal.
Again, two players who've clearly played together for a long time, both in college and now here. Diaz, again, early in this first quarter, already 1 goal, 1 assist. We have about a little over a minute left in this first quarter, and we have a tie game. Again, Super Bloom comes at you fast, and all of a sudden you realize they're back in it.
Yeah, a team that will stay in it for the entirety of the game and push for every single point and break opportunity.
Just now in Hannah Kawai's hands.
Seeing a zone
Finds the
look.
scoober. Ricarte in the middle of the field. Ricarte not finding a receiver. Sees a streaking Hannah Kawai. Hannah Kawai to the middle of the field, finding Shira Stern. And
just off the hands of the receiver.
Just a little too far for Russell. Lang now picking the disc up with a chance to see if San Diego can go up.
Ellis with the disc, looking for a reset, Stahl getting high.
And just held on a little too much there. It just had a reset in Lang, decided not to use it, and just forced a low percentage turn. Great, excellent break there. All business, Hannah Kawai to Shira Stern. Shira Stern now with 1 goal, 1 assist. Hannah Kawai with her first assist of the game.
And it does look like Seattle Tempest, again, just capitalizing on those quick turns, knowing that they're getting that turn on the end zone. Let's see the replay here of Ellis with the disc and then not using Lang. It looks like Lang had pointed to have Ellis throw that to Sarah Zhang, and it just went off the hands of the receiver. And here we see the score by Tempest, just a clean end zone score.
It's a great break by Hannah Kawai. Beautiful throw.
One of the many throwers that Tempest has on the team.
All right, Super Bloom with a chance to answer. Finding the disc in the middle of the field. Again, you're hearing the forced middle call come out of Tempest. That was a non-spinning throw, but Maldonado picks up. Nice edge on that throw.
Seattle Tempest jumping first, but Iwamoto keeping her eye on the disc.
And with the little up line, we start to see those handlers moving in the type of motion that they really would like to use today. Maldonado under pressure, still coming down.
Amazing.
With that disc. Now looking for the reset, finds the inside out break, puts it out to space. Iwamoto down, comes up with the layout grab, immediately throws. Super Bloom knocking 5 yards, 10 yards. Iwamoto again, the second grab. What an incredible play coming out of there, but this is not done. We still have to score. Inside out break from Maldonado, another layout grab coming out of Super Bloom. You know they want this point, and they get it. They get the point.
Salvation for the score, but amazing grabs by Iwamoto and Ellis and Maldonado. All the handlers working on that point to maintain possession and punch in that score.
And end this quarter, by the way. That was our last point of this quarter. What a way to end it, tied up at 4. This game is just getting started. You can see the first layout grab by Iwamoto, just having to reach out to space. And then we see the second grab coming there from Willis. Willis then with the beautiful inside out break. Second assist of Willis's game for today. Salvation again, second goal already, getting great production out of these players. And this is only the first quarter.
Only the first quarter, ending on a tied score of 4-4. Is this essentially what you expected to see in this championship finals game?
This is exactly what you expect to see. Players just going after everything, understanding the value of the disc, and we're going to get to see this again in a few minutes. We'll see you back here, second quarter coming at you, WUL Championship here, San Diego. See you soon.
We believe that women and non-binary athletes deserve to be seen and our abilities showcased for the world to see.
We believe in perpetuating Ultimate by establishing professional teams and developing future generations of players.
We believe players of all identities and backgrounds deserve an equal opportunity to be recognized and lauded for our achievements in our sport.
We believe
in sustainably and responsibly creating equitable and accessible avenues for women and non-binary athletes to join and participate in our sport.
We believe that being transparent,
open,
and responsive to criticism is critical,
and that there should always be space
to fix our mistakes,
grow,
and be better.
We are the Western Ultimate League.
Welcome back here to San Diego. We are in quarter 2 of the WUL championship game between Seattle Tempest and San Diego Super Bloom. Again, if you are tuning in, whether it is near or far, your support means the world to this league, and we want to make sure we're bringing this to you again year after year after year. So if you have the means, do consider donating to this league so we can continue to provide you free coverage of these games. Already, first quarter, look at these stats. Look at the clean holds for Super Bloom. What else are you seeing, Mako?
I am seeing, as you said, the clean holds for Super Bloom, and then looking at the break chances versus breaks. It looks like, you know, Seattle Tempest did have a couple more of those break chances, and they were able to convert one more than Super Bloom. So I think Super Bloom defense, you know, in the beginning didn't have as many chances on defense, had to come back from getting broken a couple times. So I'm looking for more of those break looks from Super Bloom. And Tempest just maintaining the pace that they've already set in that first quarter.
And here we are for the second quarter. In this case, San Diego Super Bloom pulling to Seattle Tempest. Tempest centering the disc to Cheryl Sue, looking to the far side, finding Pham, but didn't find Pham. Overthrowing. Uncharacteristic throw from Cheryl Sue, who's very sure-handed. Just a little float on that throw. Might be this wind that's starting to pick up. Lindsay Lang about 20 yards now outside the end zone, trapped on the sideline, looking for Diaz, sees the upline cut, finding Helton in the small space. Helton now with the disc about 15 yards out. Helton throwing over the top, finding Lang in the middle of the field. Lang swinging to the far side, looking for Ellis. Ellis swinging back to Lang. Lang looking to swing, goes back to Ellis. Ellis seeing Lang going up line. And then Lang finding Diaz for the break. We are back on serve.
I have to note the incredibly quick movement of those handlers, especially Ellis on that point, just give and go, seeing exactly what Tempest defense was allowing. Let's take another look there at that overthrow from Tempest. As he said, probably the gusty wind, and then here Lang and Ellis working the up line, just give and go, opening that up for Diaz for the score.
And again, let's recognize why. Sal had to come over, seeing Ellis strike up line, opening that window, allowing Diaz to then get the easy goal. That's really a credit to these handlers and just how dangerous they are. Seattle Tempest having to respect those cuts and allowing Diaz to sneak in there and get Diaz's second goal of this game.
Yeah, really opening up space for their teammates.
Now San Diego pulling to Seattle Tempest. Tempest now starting what looks like a horizontal stack. They've usually been playing a split stack, but we are seeing a little bit more of a horizontal stack coming. Kawhi with an over the top to begin, finding Abramovich in the middle of the field. Discus thrown to Shearer Stern. Shearer Stern and Hannah Kawhi just playing ball, just playing with each other. Shearer Stern now looking for the reset, finding Russell in the middle of the field. Handlers are now back. Russell looking for the around. And just outside the outstretched reaches of Super Bloom, we have a Tempest score.
Yeah, it looks like, was that Amy Kawhi with the score?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Super Bloom did try to throw one of their junky looks. Makes sense in this win, but then we do see Tempest able to find that receiver on the far side, and here we see again Salvation just barely out of reach for that D, and Amy Kawhi able to reel that in for the score.
And Russell's second assist of the game. Again, a late add to this roster. 30 minutes before, 45 minutes before this game started, Russell was given the nod to start this game. Russell making an impact, 2 assists already in this game. China's hit come now with the pull. China really does have some of the best pulls in the game, I gotta say.
All the way down to the 15-yard line.
Again, immediately seeing the 3-person cup, making the ill-advised mistake of trying to go through Steph Lim, getting the immediate D. China Titcomb now picking the disc up, looking downfield, not seeing what they want. China Titcomb now going up line. Steph Lim, this is where she is so dangerous. China Titcomb looking that off, finding Julia Snyder. Julia Snyder looking for the break, not able to get it, finds the inside out. Steph Lim, sure hands right in the middle of the field. Steph Lim now looking for the reset, finding Julia Snyder. Julia Snyder with the inside out break to Cassie Wong, to then Sam Rodenberg for the goal.
Just an amazing, clean offensive look from Tempest, able to move that disc through a lot of their players and work it down to the end zone for that score by Rodenberg. Let's see that again, the block.
Yep, starts with the turnover by Willis, and then just nice motion from the handler. Steph Lim, incredible handler. And then you see the break throw by Julia Snyder that sets up Cassie Wong to throw that assist to Sam Rodenberg.
Great use of the break side.
Definitely. Sam Rodenberg finishing last night with 4 goals, now with 1 already in this early part of the second quarter. Seattle now back up 1 with the break.
I imagine we'll continue to see this give and go with the points with these 2 well-matched teams.
Well, it's holding the disc, finding Kayla Hilton. Kayla Hilton looking for the deep shot, not getting it, hitting Iwamoto on the other side of the field. Iwamoto now throwing the up line, hitting Willis.
A great cut from Pajunas to get the disc from Willis.
Back to Iwamoto, now to the far side of the field, looking for the break, back to Iwamoto.
Seattle switching to stop that handler motion. Hilton for a huge bid.
Yeah, from Avery Jones. Now Kayla Hilton on the doorstep. Throws the inside out, just a little too much sauce on that. I know the 2 of you were talking about sauces last night. I don't know if that was a barbecue.
Yeah, definitely a little spicy on that throw from Hilton to Deanna Abrams, just zipping right off of Deanna Abrams' hands. Tempest now looking immediately deep. We see Avery Jones.
But if you heard the timeout called, great call by the Seattle Tempest roster coaches. Kat Songer trapped on that sideline. Stall was getting high. Good use of the timeout. Allows the stall to reset. That's the other aspect of the timeout rule. In addition to substituting players, your stall resets back to 1.
Exactly. I imagine we're going to see some sort of deep look. Let's see this layout from Hilton again. Just textbook layout to maintain position.
And you can see the angle of it here, and I'm sure Kayla feels like they want that throw. She wants that throw back because that right after that she threw that disc a little too far for the score. And now you can see Rory Titcomb here really offering advice, information. Again, very quiet about the strategies that Tempest is using for these games and the line falling, only saying at the beginning of the game, I expect a good game.
Exactly.
Only quote we could have gotten out of Rory here today.
Yeah, Seattle Tempest coaching staff notoriously tight-lipped about their strategy. In some of the sideline interviews that I was able to do with Tempest yesterday with their reserve player, most Tempest players will just continue to advocate over and over that they trust every single one of their players on the team. All of the lines that they put out are the best lines that they possibly could, and I think that's why coaching staff is tight-lipped about it, because they want you to focus on how good all of the players are.
Again, you can already see substitution. The disc had started with Kate Songer, now with Hannah Kawhi trapped on the sideline with a reset stall of 1. Hannah Kawhi able to get the disc to the middle of the field, relieving some of that pressure. now looking for the reset. Abranovich now, they are back trapped into their end zone right now. Nice switching from Super Bloom, gets the inlet pass, nice grab. Tempest now trapped on the sideline, looking for the inside out break, finding the inside out space. Seattle Tempest now looking for the reset. Finding Ricarte. Ricarte now on the big side of the field, looking for Russell, looks off Russell, goes for the inside out break. Unfortunately, just behind. Lindsay Lang with the D now. Iwamoto holding the disc, finding Helton on the sideline. Helton looking for someone going deep, not finding someone right now. Throwing the inside out break. Everyone wants Iwamoto to keep laying out, apparently. No need in this time. Maldonado now with the disc in the middle of the field, looking for a break. Finding Pajunas now on the break side of the field. Seeing a streaking Avery Jones. Avery Jones sneaking back to the line of scrimmage. Jones at the line of scrimmage now. Looking for the dump. Throwing the line of scrimmage down to Iwamoto. Going up line. Avery Jones now in a
amazing grab for the goal. And honestly, right there, what you saw a couple throws before was Jones giving a trust throw to Iwamoto for the reset, and then ahead of her defender, able to streak up line for the goal from Iwamoto. Let's get a replay of that. Turn again, thrown right to Lindsay Lang. Immediate turn, immediately offense from San Diego Super Bloom. And here we see Jones with great positioning, able to hop into the end zone.
And a good decision by Russell, if I'm not mistaken, who was on the D, to not try and contest that throw, understanding that she was out of position and allowing Avery Jones to come down safely with that pass. Jones, again, just a step ahead and maintain that space, rightfully so.
Yeah, we love good, safe, smart defense, and that was a great example of that from Seattle Tempest.
Seattle Tempest now starting in that split sideline. Steph Lim with the disc. Looking to the sideline. Great grab. Cannot tell if it was landed in bounds. Looks like the observer called it out of bounds. San Diego now with a chance to break.
A lot of these throws from Tempest really soaring just out of bounds. Wondering how they're going to adjust for this wind. And
Lindsay Lang putting that disc up a little too far. Now with the turn.
And Helton there to block a look from Seattle Tempest and get that disc back for Bloom.
Ellis handing the disc off, trying to get the disc back now. Ellis having a great game last night as well. Looking for the deep look, not getting it. Finding Kayla Helton on the under, but throwing a little bit behind Helton. Now you're seeing them call for the switches. They know Seattle Tempest wants to run. Good defense by San Diego.
Yeah, really able to stop that deep, immediate deep look from Tempest.
Seeing the unders come. Tempest with the disc just at half field. Rodenberg now with the disc. Throws the upfield, looking for the next look. Gets looked off. Gellert says no. Disc in the middle of the field. Cassie Wong handing it off. Cassie Wong now getting the disc back on the break side of the field. Lindsay Lang coming over to mark. Julia Snyder trying to get the reset. Disc now back to the middle of the field to Steph Lim. Steph Lim finding Sheena Titcomb. Sheena Titcomb towing the little flip throw to Sam Rodenberg for Sam's second goal of the day.
A lot of trust in that Tempest offense there. There were, break opportunities on both sides. Let's get a replay of that reset throw across field for Tempest. And then we see it to Sheena Titcomb. And just a little dish to Rodenberg for the score for Tempest, bringing us to 7-6, Tempest leading. I do have to call out, San Diego Super Bloom did a great job of switches on the defense for that point, able to communicate well, which I know they have been working on throughout the season, to point out, here's someone going deep, please pick this person up.
And just a credit also to Seattle, we at this point have 6 players scoring goals, 6 unique players with assists. It's going to be a very team effort in order for Seattle to take this win.
Yeah, that is an amazing percentage. 6 of the 7 goals from Seattle Tempest by 6 different players. Just again, we'll say it again and again, the depth of this roster is incredible.
Seattle again coming down with that 3-person zone. Hopefully Super Bloom's handlers having no problem. Now you see a deep look, hanging slightly. Sharon Sao closing the gap. Coming up with the D, Sharon Sao, an incredible defender coming out of Texas, had an incredible D yesterday. Again, a defensive player who you cannot take your eyes off of. Seattle Tempest now with a chance to earn another break. Erickson finding Ari Lozano on the sideline. Lozano holding the disc now, looking for the reset.
A high stall throw.
A very high stall, hanging in the air. Very tall Jamie Erickson coming down with it. Disc now reset back to Songer. Songer resets to Pham. Cheryl Sue with the up line. Now we see another deep look. Ahead, Avery Jones sitting in that deep space.
Oh,
but Avery Jones
goodness.
doesn't come down with it. And Erickson with the grab for the break.
You know, they do tell you catch your Ds. I think in that case, Avery Jones was already running at her max speed, able to get a hand on that disc. But then, as you say, the very tall Jamie Erickson there to lay out for the score. Let's take another look at this huck from Maldonado.
And this great D by Sal. Nice closing of the gap. Really good positioning. Goes up early, gets the D. The reaction from the sideline. And then you see the deep look coming.
Avery Jones getting that position, just tipping it, and then Jamie Erickson with the beautiful bid for the score. One more time, we see that deep look.
And that was Kat Songer with the deep look to Erickson. Not sure if that was the intended receiver, but it worked.
Yeah, just another great defensive point for Seattle Tempest, capitalizing on that quick, deep look on the turn.
And a tie game now is now a 2-point lead for Tempest. Seattle Super Boom looking to get back in. We are seeing a person defense come out of Tempest. Interesting, given the fact that they've had success. We are seeing a deep look to Kayla Helton. Kayla Helton unable to come down with it. I think Abby Ambranovich got a piece of that. Abby Ambranovich, I apologize, getting a piece of that. Deep look for Kayla Helton, perhaps a little too short, but also just excellent defense by Tempest.
Yeah, amazing defense for that receiver on Tempest.
Disc is now in the middle of the field. Hannah Kawhi looking for Shira Stern. Resetting back. Russell's with the disc. Back to Hannah Kawhi.
And number 2, Ricarte putting up a huge throw out, and it looks like not quite able to connect with the receiver with Alex
Sue
Diaz.
is an incredible receiver, but Alex Diaz in that space forces Sue to have to make decisions earlier than Sue wanted to be able to read that disc. Great defense by Diaz, even if it doesn't show up as an actual block. Well, it's now trying to get this offense moving, looking for resets downfield, finds the inside-out spice, hitting Diaz. Diaz hitting Iwamoto. Iwamoto unleashing a deep throw, but everyone is stopped. I'm not really sure why, but someone better catch that disc.
Salvation, looks like a pick was called. Unsure if involved, but we are going back a throw to Iwamoto with the disc. Salvation with that great run of that deep look. Looks like she had paused in the middle, maybe hearing the call, but seeing the disc go up, ran through and made sure to catch and maintain possession.
Super Boom now looking to attack. Great grab by Willits. Throws a little too far.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of these throws floating, hanging out a little longer than I think the throwers would like.
Hannah Kawhi picking the disc up, immediately throwing the inside out back to Ricarte. Ricarte in the middle of the field, unleashing a deep throw to the far side. Diaz with the D, and almost again. Tempest trying to come down with the second chance opportunity. Diaz and Helton collapsing there on the play. I'm sure both very relieved that Abramovich was not able to come down with that pass.
Yeah, and you see Diaz getting a hand on it in the beginning and then making sure Ricarte wasn't able to catch it on the bobble.
Seeing deep looks coming out of Kayla Helton. I know Kayla Helton taking this game personally. wanting to make sure she leaves her mark on this game. Kayla without the disc in the middle of the field, unleashing a deep throw to Iwamoto. Not the person you see downfield, but Iwamoto. Great read, 3 yards outside the end zone. Hands the disc off, goes up line, and comes down with the score. That was from Avery Jones to Kelly Iwamoto. Our handlers are becoming deep receivers, and if you're Super Bloom, you say, yes, thank you, I'll take more of that, please.
Amazing play, a great throw by Helton early on, seeing that Iwamoto had no one near her, streaking deep, and then Iwamoto able to, with that disc floating a little bit, still come down with it, dish to Jones, and then get it for the score.
And again, we see the D here. Diaz getting the early D on it, and then Branovich just couldn't get a handle on the bobble. Here again, this great grab, nice positioning, going up early against Russell. Iwamoto then immediately dropping back and then attacking upfield for the easy score.
And that was a great throw from Jones to space, just past Iwamoto's defender, making sure Iwamoto could run it out for that score.
And as you see on the screen, first goal for Iwamoto in addition to the 2 assists. Hey, if that's what they have to do to win, that's what they got to do to win. We're leading to the final minutes of the second quarter, about to lead to halftime. Seattle Tempest with the disc in the middle of the field. Disc now in Steph Lim's capable hands, finding Sam Roderberg in the middle of the field. Sam Roderberg throwing the reset down. Disc back to Lim.
Margot Urheim back with the disc.
Trapped on that sideline. Oh, almost D'd.
Oh, a great heads-up defense by Lexa Stamba, able to see that little dish and get a hand on it, knocking it out of play for Seattle Tempest.
Lexa Stamba, not a name you're going to always hear often, but definitely someone who takes on some incredibly hard matchups. This, unfortunately, seemingly off of Pajunas' face, perhaps.
Looks like we are having an injury called on that.
Again, we're not down on the field, but it might be gustier than we can tell up here. Pajunas, again, very sure-handed. It sounds like that disc just probably popped.
There's a replay of that D from Lexa Stamba, and then we see this disc. Looks like it might have popped up, as you said, into Pajunas' face.
Pajunas is coming out, picking the disc up, looking for Steph Lim. Steph Lim now with the disc, finding the inside-out break. Sam Roderberg in the middle of the field. Roderberg looking, finding the reset with Julia Snyder. Julia Snyder hitting the close side of the field. We see Cassie Wong with the disc, finding the inside-out space and hitting a Sam Rodenberg for the score.
And we do have 24 seconds left on the clock. Super Bloom able to have one more chance, probably before the clock runs out. We see again this clean look from Seattle Tempest. Their inside breaks are just so dangerous.
And Cassie Wong, just an incredible athlete, especially at the end zone, knows where to find the right people, knows how to get those scores. Cassie finishing this season with an incredible amount of assists, already 2 assists in today's game. And Sam Rodenberg with her third goal of today's game. We are not even at halftime. And with just under 30 seconds left in this game, yes, a chance for San Diego to get back on the board and close this 2-point gap back to 1 point.
I know Seattle Tempest is going to want to stop that and widen this gap as much as possible before going into the second half.
Willits with the disc in the middle of the field. Goes to the far sideline. Looking for the deep look, not there. Finding the inside, under the pass, back to Willits. Now to Maldonado. Maldonado to Jones.
We're now on the final possession of the quarter. Super Bloom just needs to score this point.
Willis to Diaz. Diaz sure hands in the middle of the field. Diaz hands off to Avery Jones. You see Diaz striking up line. Jones looking off. Back to Willis. Willis in the middle of the field, finding a disc in the middle of the field, and ending with the score.
That is Jessica Wan with the score for Super Bloom. Just an open look in the center of the end zone, and a much needed point for Super Bloom heading into this second half. Let's get one more look at that. Jones looking off the streaking Diaz, centering to Willis, who then sees Jessica Wan open in the middle of the end zone.
And while that is Jessica Wan's first goal of the game, it is Willis's third assist of this game already. This is an exciting first half, y'all. We have just now hit halftime. Final score right now, just at half, San Diego down 1 to Seattle at 9. Final right now, current score, San Diego 8, Seattle 9. We're going to come back to you in a couple minutes because we're going to go down to halftime, and Katie's going to be down doing our halftime interviews. But I got to tell you, Mako, let's just talk about what an exciting first half this has been. So many great plays and second chance opportunities coming from both rosters. Who do you think is going to shine in the second half?
I think we're already seeing a lot of the players shine in the first half and will continue to do so second half. Alex Diaz, as he said, Willis having a great game for Super Bloom with those assists. And then on Seattle Tempest, just a full roster of goals. But now we can go down to our sideline interview. It looks like Katie Killenbrew has one of the players from Seattle Tempest to talk about that first half.
Killenbrew reporting here. I'm with reserve Seattle player Kat Chung, who played a lot of the regular season but isn't playing this game. Seattle is having kind of a lot of insular energy. You guys are talking to each other, not talking to us. How is that team-focused energy supporting you this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we support each other. We honestly, this whole season, like, it's been such a treat to like play with everyone and be teammates with each other. So, you know, we're here to grind for each other, to play with each other, and to honestly just be there for each other. Like, the energy sideline is just so great. So, yeah.
Yeah, your sideline is bringing a lot of energy, but this is not your home crowd. How do you feel? Like, normally you're in a big stadium in Seattle with lots of fans. How does it feel to be at a different stadium today?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of our sayings that the coaches like to say is row your own boat. So I think obviously not being in our home turf, like, we're just trying to focus on being with each other, supporting each other, even despite, not having many fans in the stands.
Sometimes that happens. I was going to say there's a lot of adjustments that you guys made in the beginning of the game, trying to stop Seattle's, trying to stop San Diego's movement using a little bit of force middle and that zone look at the beginning. Are there any other adjustments you're going to make in this game?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing great. I think obviously just being really tight in person D, generating those blocks and awesome turns, like, I think that's just going to help us, secure the win. So, yep.
And if you had to predict what player is going to make the biggest impact in the second half, who would it be?
I mean, my money's still on Jamie Erickson. She's just a baller, so. Yeah.
We saw them come up with such a great grab. Thank you for talking to us. Back to you in the booth.
Thank you so much, Katie. We're going to be coming back after a quick break. Do not turn off your computers, your TVs. This has been a barn burner of our first half. Expect more of the same. Seattle Tempest up on Super Bloom 9-8. Second half coming at you.
Hi, my name is Sheena Titcomb. I'm number 9 on Seattle Tempest. I consider myself a leader because I think I've gained so much knowledge from people that have come before me in various programs and various cities that I've played, and I benefited so much from learning from other people that as much as I can, I want to pass on that knowledge and help other people grow in the same way that I've been helped. One of the things I'm really motivated by is like being part of history, and yes, it's very historic that the WUL is starting on the West Coast, but what I'm excited about is the build-up, and I want to be part of creating this generational shift in our society where we value men and women equally.
And we are back, waiting for the second half of the championship finals game. Right now, though, we do have an interview for you with one of the San Diego Super Bloom players down on the sideline.
Down here on the field with Super Bloom player Amanda Rutland. Very exciting game. What have been your team's keys to the game so far?
I think just really trying to hone in and play our game. We've made a lot of adjustments since the first time we played Seattle, since that was our first game, and just really focusing on our play and what we can control. You know, we're all out here in the heat, can't control that, and trying to play off this home crowd and use their energy to fuel us.
Very nice. So when we started this game, there wasn't a lot of wind. Now we're getting a lot more gusty wind. How is that affecting the game?
I think it's kind of fun because it lets us see a lot more D-looks from the teams. Kind of opens up our playbook a little when there's some wind and lets some people shine.
So trailing by 1 point in this half, trying to come back, what offensive adjustments are you guys trying to try to make to come back in this game?
I think just running our system, you know, adjusting for the win maybe, but just doing the basics, throwing and catching with our friends, enjoying this second half of the game in front of our home crowd.
Awesome. So your daughter Tarly also here watching you play. What does it mean to be a professional athlete in front of your hometown, fans, your family, and also your daughter?
It means the world, especially to be able to be here at home in front of the fans and to see all the young girls. They may come out right now just to see Poppy, our mascot, but they're soaking in this amazing women's athletic performance, and I just really hope that we can create a better world for all those young girls and young boys in the stand that are out here watching us.
Awesome. And if you have one prediction for a player who's going to make a difference in this second half, who's it going to be?
It's going to be Torch. She's amazing, and I think that she's not known enough for how much she's shown and proven over the last 10 years of her playing Ultimate.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We'll send it back to you in the booth as we look forward to more action in this finals game from the Western Ultimate League.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks so much for those interviews. It's always great to hear from these players, to just talk about the impact that this game, this league has for them and their families and their friends who are watching. Again, we're looking at the first game stats, looking at a relatively clean game and an even game, largely. Obviously, more break chance opportunities for Seattle Tempest, but this game very close right now, very close in terms of turnovers. Super Bloom really keeping themselves in the game with the clean holds. What are you seeing in this first half right now?
I'm seeing, I feel like, exactly what most of us expected in this matchup, just give and go with points between Seattle Tempest and San Diego Super Bloom. Both deep rosters, very system-based teams, and they're going to come into the second half with adjustments on defense, on offense, trying to work against each other and gain the lead for the championship win.
Yes, these are two incredibly well-coached teams, both Angela Wells, Rory Titcomb, but we're exciting to see what adjustments we see in the second half. We're going to take a short break. Again, don't turn away. This is 9-8, second half coming at you, WUL Championship. Finals to be determined. We will have a winner in 24 minutes left of play. Stay tuned and come on back. And welcome back to San Diego. My name is Manisha Dariani. I'm here with my co-host,
Jory Moore, also known as Mako.
And we are so excited to bring you the second half of the championship game between the number 1 seed, Seattle Tempest, versus the number 2 seed, San Diego Super Bloom. Again, if you are watching these infomercials or packets in between, you'll notice that these footage that we're showing you are free footage that is being provided by this league in order to ensure visibility for women and non-binary athletes. And if you want more of this, we need your support. If you have the means and the method, consider donating the cost of the ticket, which was $30, to be able to ensure that we continue to provide high quality coverage of incredible athletes and these incredible games to your homes, streamed to you live and free. Again, starting the second half, Seattle pulling to Super Bloom. Super Bloom looking to tie this game up immediately with a clean hold. Willis, who's had a great first half, picking up the disc to start. Seattle coming down again with that 3-person cup. Iwamoto, no stranger to playing against zones. finding Maldonado. Maldonado finding Pajunas. Pajunas now finding Maldonado. The throw was a little short. A discussion about a call. Russell Peters coming with the D.
Yeah, Gene
Russell. My apologies.
Gene Russell's able to get a hand on it, but it does look like Maldonado
Everyone
called
ready?
a strip.
It's coming in on one.
Not contested, so Maldonado maintaining possession.
Maldonado faking the deep look, now looking for the around, finding Iwamoto. Another swing to Pajunas. Pajunas now, big side of the field, looking for a reset. Looking across the field, looking for Diaz. Diaz going up. Unfortunately, the throw is a little too short, and a great D there by Ricarte.
And it looks like that throw for Tempest just bounced off of Shira Stern, and Maldonado with the disc, Bloom with another chance to score this.
Kayla Hilton trying to get that disc, just curving around Kayla Hilton. Turnover for Super Bloom. Again, very much how this game started. Not clean, but clearly two teams vying to get the disc right now. Hannah Kawai picking up the disc, trapped on the sideline, finding the inside out throw immediately to Shira Stern. Shira now looking back, finding Hannah Kawai. Hannah Kawai looking back to the middle of the field, looking for Ricarte, but another drop.
Yeah, I would have to say the wind definitely playing a factor in these discs soaring just out of bounds, and probably also these uncharacteristic drops for Tempest.
You see Iwamoto looking for the reset, trying to throw to Willis upfield, but just a little bit too far ahead for Willis. Hannah Kawai trying to immediately get the disc off the start, and a great D.
Willis getting redemption there.
And then Hannah Kawai trying to get a D of their own. Diaz bobbling the disc, holding the disc. Avery Jones now in the middle of the field, looking for a reset. Iwamoto getting another layout D, another layout grab, I apologize. Iwamoto then throwing the inside out, but Pajunas not expecting the throw. Disc now back to Tempest. Tempest calling the timeout on the field.
I think that is a great choice. Honestly, both teams right now do need to take a breath. We're seeing a lot of drops, a lot of overthrows, miscommunications on both sides, and I think a timeout lets both sides take a deep breath, play their game, and come back fighting hard.
An early timeout, no doubt. But one, I agree, is a smart decision right now. Both sides playing, frankly, sloppy. And yes, some of this probably is the win, but both of these teams are known for their sure-handedness, known for...
Let's take a look at a few of these turns so far on this point coming out of half.
And just these inside-out throws, again, a great D. Let's not forget that. There was a great D in the middle of that, too. But there are just other drops happening right now. And in this case, you see a great grab by Iwamoto, but looking for the reset, unfortunately just didn't make connections with Pajunas, leading to the turnover, giving Tempest now the disc with an opportunity to get a break.
I think we can see both teams with the energy wanting to win it all, and it's coming out in maybe some jitters, some nerves coming out of second half, and we'll see how Tempest makes adjustments with this timeout for their offensive look.
Steph Lim picking the disc up, waiting to come out of the timeout. Trying to throw that around. Round is taken away. Finds Erheim in the middle of the field. Erheim looking to reset to Tina Tecum. Oh, Maldonado should have laid out. Steph Lim.
Willis trying again for a block. And we see Pajunas and Helton in the deep space, a terrifying combination to try to get a disc against.
And an incredible layout D by Steph Lim, seeing the inside out, understanding that Iwamoto was looking for Maldonado. Great layout D, and then smartly, by the way, not picking up the disc. Julia Snyder now with the disc, trapped on the sideline, looking for Tina Titcomb. Tina Titcomb continuing to strike upfield now, about 2 yards outside the end zone, looking for a player upfield, looking for the reset. And sneaking the disc in underneath a diving Alex Diaz, hitting Julia Snyder for the break.
Just phenomenal play after that timeout from Tempest, able to punch it in for the score. And we see a great defensive pressure from Super Bloom, but just not quite able to get possession of the disc back.
I got to say, if I'm Maldonado, all I'm thinking is, why didn't I lay out for that grab?
And
Again,
here's that.
Great layout D by Steph Lim. Good awareness of recognizing that's the throw Iwamoto wanted. And then you see that little inside-out break. Diaz with the bid, just unable to convert on that D. Seattle Tempest now up 10-8 on San Diego Super Bloom. We are still very early in this third quarter. A lot of game left to play.
Looks like we have a few different players out here for San Diego Super Bloom's O-line, trying to use some of the depth of their roster.
Hannah Walter right now sort of acting as the rock, what they call it, in the middle of the field. Iwamoto sort of playing a little bit more of a, let's call it crash cup style, trying to get the disc.
Bloom getting pushed back.
Walter looking for Iwamoto. Finds the hole. Willis resets back. Walter with the disc now. Walter now gets the disc in the middle of the field. Great grab by Abrams.
Tempest in their person look.
Very nice D coming out of Tempest.
Sharon Tsao able to just read that throw and get the block.
Tempest now with another chance to break. Disc on the far side of the field in Jamie Erickson's hands. Not the person you want the disc, you want catching. Jamie Erickson says, no, I'm going to unleash a deep look. And Jamie Erickson with the deep look.
And I believe that is technically bookends for Sharon Tsao. She was the one who got the block earlier, and then streaking deep for Jamie Erickson, who, as you said, is typically someone we see receiving in the end zone, but able to put up a beautiful throw to Sharon Tsao.
And you may not see it in the replay, but we had a little bit of a leprechaun heel kick coming out of Jamie Erickson celebrating that goal. Again, you can see the turnover here coming from Sharon Tsao. Great defense, and then just uncorking this great outside in deep look, catching Tsao in stride. Great, great put.
Yeah, beautiful separation for Sharon Tsao on that throw. Looks like we might have a timeout called in between points as we see both teams here on the field talking. What do you think Tempest is discussing in this timeout?
Don't let up. That's what they're saying. They're saying don't let up, don't let up, don't let up. Now, what I am noticing is San Diego seems to be playing tighter than we saw last night. We're just seeing less rotation amongst players. We're seeing what are necessary timeouts being called in order to let players rest and recover. But we're not getting what we saw yesterday, which was just sort of the depth of the roster really demonstrating itself. An unusually quiet morning right now for Helton and for Pajunas, two players who both well accoladed players, but yet not yet finding themselves on the stat sheet. Again, if you are liking any of the jerseys you see here, say for example Seattle Tempest, you can purchase those jerseys at seattletempest.com. All of the team jerseys are also available via Breakmark being one of our sponsors for the WUL, and Discraft as well. And you could be a sponsor too if you are enjoying what you see. We obviously want to come back next year, and your assistance will help us get there. Again, if you're looking for Super Bloom gear, find it at sandiegosuperbloom.com/shop.
Yeah, I do love the poppies on the Super Bloom jersey. Very quintessential California.
Super Bloom now trying to get back into this game. They are now down 3.
We see both Helton and Pajunas on this line.
Tempest immediately coming in that 3-person zone, forcing lots of passes, forcing the disc to have to go back. Avery Jones now back with the disc, trying to break through this cup. Maldonado holding the disc. Swinging around, hitting Iwamoto. Going across the field to Willis.
Super Bloom losing yards against this zone.
Finally, an over-the-top throw as a means to try and get the disc moving. Kayla Helton now immediately coming under, looking for Diaz. Throwing deep to Diaz. Diaz tracking it down, and a great throw from Helton to Diaz. And if you saw, that disc really moved.
Yeah, you could see it in the wind, catching on the breeze, and honestly just floating perfectly for Diaz to run it down for that score. A great throw from Helton, and also a great upside-down throw from Iwamoto to Jones to really break open that zone.
I think Kayla's ears are burning because immediately uncorking that deep look to Alex Diaz, getting herself on that stat sheet, putting an impact on this game, understanding that we are now in the third quarter. Time, while currently your friend, is slowly going to become your enemy.
Exactly. I think Super Bloom, as you said, are playing tighter lines, and we are seeing Helton walking back onto the line for this defensive look. A huge player for San Diego Super Bloom, able to really take charge on the field. And we see Lang here getting ready for the pool for San Diego. And also Salvation, who is typically an O-line player we see in this D lineup.
Again, Super Blooming needing a block to get back into the game. Disc is in Steph Lim's hands. Disc now goes to the far side, just a little too far. And now Super Bloom with a chance to be able to convert. Lindsay Lang picking the disc up, has a reset available in Ellis. Not looking at the reset, starting to look at the reset, hitting Ellis in the middle of the field. Ellis now looking downfield. Throwing the up line to Lang. Lang now looking downfield. Lang uncorking. Just a misread and miscommunication between the receiver, Salvation, and Lang.
Yeah, those are the type of big shots we expect to see from Lindsay Lang, but as you said, Salvation possibly unsure if Lang actually wanted that deep look. We saw some hesitation, and now Tempest with a chance again for a score.
Nice grab by Erheim in the middle of the field. Looking for the reset, hitting Steph Lim. Steph Lim now looking, hitting Cassie Wong in the middle of the field. Cassie Wong has a receiver going deep, fakes that deep throw. New resets to Chena Titcomb. Chena Titcomb now holding the disc. Unleashing a deep look of her own to us, bidding Steph Lim. Steph Lim now with about 15 yards outside the end zone, looking for a reset right now. Chena Titcomb coming in for that reset, hitting Julia Snyder, going back upfield. Chena Titcomb now with the disc, trapped on the sideline, finding Steph Lim. Steph Lim about 5 yards outside the end zone, seeing a Chena Titcomb streaking upfield, and against Kayla Helton. Chena Titcomb with the layout grab to score and break. Oh my God. Oh no, hold and hold. My
yeah,
God.
I
Hold.
do. That was the Seattle Tempest hold. There was the turn with Bloom, but then Tempest, upon getting that disc back, just moving ahead of the San Diego Super Bloom defense, just able to give, go, and Steph Lim having an amazing game, amazing point. We see that replay here, Chena Titcomb throwing it, and then Steph Lim with the bidding grab just outside of the end zone, and then Steph Lim again for the assist to Chena Titcomb. Those two players, huge players, and able to just work that disc upfield.
Chena looking to see if she still has some skin left on her elbow. But Chena Titcomb, an incredible game so far. Again, 1 goal, 2 assists for Chena Titcomb. We are still in the third quarter of this championship game between the #1 seed, Seattle Tempest, and the #2 seed, San Diego Super Bloom. Super Bloom now looking to regroup. Coming down in a person. Iwamoto find Willis is in the middle of the field. Willis is looking, doesn't find a receiver. Avery Jones grabs against a lot of pressure. Avery Jones now looking for the reset, finding Iwamoto. Another layout grab. Some discussion about a call. Still a great grab.
Looks like whether or not it was up or down, I'm not sure if Seattle is. Okay, just a discussion of what we're coming in on with stoppage of play. Deanna Abrams with that disc.
Abrams then immediately uncorks a deep look. Is it gonna work? It does! It does work! Salvation grabbing that disc. Great read by the shorter Salvation to be able to come down with that disc.
Yeah, Sharon Sal was the defender on that, had position on the disc, just really making Salvation work for that grab. But as you said, Salvation able to come down with it, even with Sal jumping in front of Salvation. Just another great goal for Salvation, and amazing defensive pressure by Seattle Tempest, and a great throw by Deanna Abrams. Seeing Salvation, knowing that is a cutter you can trust in the end zone. I think this is the type of momentum that that San Diego Super Bloom needs to capitalize on and keep going if they want to close this gap, because we are, again, 12-10, Seattle Tempest leading in this third quarter with just 4 minutes left.
And Seattle Tempest now seeing a zone look coming out of San Diego Super Bloom. Abramovich handing it off to Hannah Kawai. Hannah Kawai popping over the top to Linnea Su. Linnea Su dropping it back over to Abramovich. Abramovich down to the middle of the field, finding Russell in the middle of the field. Back to Abramovich. Finding Shearer Stern in the middle of the field, right in between that zone, really the heart of that zone. Just cutting through it right now. And looks like they're switching to person, but there's been some miscommunication, but there's an overthrow. Kayla Hilton able to come down with the disc and take advantage of what was some confusion. Ellis right now with the disc back to Kayla Hilton. Kayla now giving it back to Ellis. You can start to feel this pressure generate. Someone's got to get the disc. Iwamoto now disc with the middle of the field. Looking for Lang. Lang's not moving. Now looking for Ellis. Hits a little cheeky throw to Ellis. Ellis now looking upfield. Hits Pajunas. Pajunas looking for Kayla Hilton. Looks off Kayla Hilton. Pajunas now trapped on the sideline. Decides, no, I'm going to throw it deep to Kayla Hilton. Kayla Hilton now about 8 yards outside the end zone. Looking for a reset. Needs someone to come get the disc. Now gets the disc back. Sitting in the middle of the field. Throws to the far side of the field. Is it going to be too far?
Just a little bit of an overthrow, but what amazing momentum on that point. San Diego Super Bloom able to push up all the way from their own end zone to the end zone to score. And Seattle Tempest now seeing the same zone look from San Diego, which is a lot of running when you're in that wall up front for San Diego.
Ricarte now with the disc, really just broken through that zone. Now let's sort of trying to go one at a time. Shearer Stern trying to replicate the same layout grab as yesterday, unable to hang on to that. Super Bloom now with another chance to have the disc back. We have about 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Can Super Bloom close this gap right now? We see a layout D from Abramovich, but Pajunas able to hold on to that disc. Pajunas now looking for the reset, tries to hit Iwamoto, but just too hard of an angle. Disc now back to Seattle Tempest.
Super Bloom in a person look for defense.
Ricarte in the sideline right now, looking for the upline, finds Russell. Russell then finds a wide open receiver, Shearer Stern, for the goal. And what a turn of events. What a turn of events. Yeah, I think that was a hold. That was a hold.
Yeah, we did see San Diego's zone look there, really putting the pressure on for Seattle Tempest. We see that bid from Stern there. And then Seattle Tempest able to gain momentum and punch it in for the score.
Again, Russell's third assist of this game. I'm going to say this again. A player activated at the last minute. 3 assists for Russell. Shearer Stern doing what Shearer Stern does best. 2 goals, 1 assist already in this game, and we still have a whole quarter to go.
Yeah, Russell coming out of reserve to play this game. Just an amazing stat day for her.
In fact, leading the team with assists right now. Rodenberg leading on goals for Seattle Tempest.
That's amazing. We love to see it.
Seattle Tempest again comes down with that zone. Immediately seeing going over the top. Hannah Walters not about to have this, wants to get this disc moving. We now see them immediately going back to person, so that worked. Some tight play. Chena Tickham not contesting Willis on the foul call.
Yeah, it looks like there was just, the players tangling up on that play. And we do want to see the clock stop again in the last 2 minutes of a quarter. The clock should stop for every
So it's
call.
all there? Okay, cool.
All right, cool. Ground check. All right.
It looks actually like Seattle Tempest is coming up with possession after that call and are now able to have a break chance. We see Chena Titcomb in the center of the field with the disc, looking for a break.
Swinging to the far side of the field. Cassie Wong coming down with it. Cassie Wong now looking for something downfield. Clock is starting to work against Super Bloom's favor. Julia Snyder holding the disc, throws the inside out break.
And Messner there for the block.
And now, last possession should remain with Super Bloom. Super Bloom coming down. Avery Jones getting the initial grab, looking for a receiver, not seeing one. And we see Erheim get a piece of that.
Yeah, it looks like there was a hand block by Margot Erheim, and that is the last point of this quarter, as time did run out during that Super Bloom possession, and the turn ended this third quarter. We saw an amazing quarter from both teams. What do you think changed for Seattle Tempest going into this quarter?
It was mistakes by Super Bloom. I mean, again, let's be clear, we still have a quarter left to go, but we are just seeing some unfortunate mistakes coming out of Super Bloom. There were opportunities. You just think about that throw from Kayla Hilton into the end zone, a little too far for Brenda Stevens. That is a whole swing of a point that's going to make the difference here. And when we're talking about the fourth quarter, again, these are 12-minute quarters. Super Bloom has to make up the gap. 3 points down coming into the fourth quarter. Stay tuned, y'all. I believe Super Bloom's going to come back. So come back and watch and see what happens. Thanks so much. See you soon.
My name is Pam Krause, and I'm coaching Seattle Tempest. I am so excited about the talent that has shown up at our tryouts. I am inspired by the amazing athleticism, the play, the creativity. We are so fortunate to have so much talent to choose from, so I'm very excited about the talent that we're going to get to work with this season and show off to the world what we can do.
Hi there, we are back. My apologies, I had my mic off. We are back here in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to the WUL championship game between the top 2 seeds, San Diego Super Bloom and Seattle Tempest. A little bit of a hole that Super Bloom has crawled themselves into, and they're going to need to crawl themselves out, and they only have 12 minutes to do it. What are you seeing in this third quarter, and what do you think is the key to get Super Bloom back in this game?
I think what we're seeing is some nerves from Super Bloom. A lot of these throws are overthrown. There's a lot of miscommunication, and I think that's something that Super Bloom knows how to work through. They just need to recognize that this is a possession game for them. They need to keep that disc out of Tempest's hands and set the pace for this quarter.
Super Bloom having to start on D now. These decisions about who starts on offense and defense really starts to become a much more significant decision as we get to the later parts of the game. In this case, Super Bloom having taken the disc out of bounds. Hannah Kawai going to center the disc to start. We're seeing Super Bloom, looks like they're coming out in a person with a bit of a sag on what would likely be the break side, perhaps. On the open side, my apologies. Hannah Kawai resetting to Shira Stern. Shira Stern looking for Amy Kawai. Amy Kawai now on the sideline, looking for the reset, looking for her older sister. Hannah Kawai now with the disc in the middle of the field, throws the little break to Abramovich. Abramovich now on the big side of the field, guarded by Bajunas. Bajunas, disc now to the far side. Russell throwing, hitting Amy Kawai. Amy Kawai now back to Russell. Disc now back to Sue. Back to Hannah Kawai. Hannah Kawai about 5 yards outside the end zone right now, looking for the inside out break and gets the easy inside out break. Hannah Kawai to Ricarte.
And that was an incredibly quick offensive point for Seattle Tempest. Really just moving that disc, the stall probably not getting any higher than 3 for any of those throws. Let's take a look at that again. We see here the give and go. Kawai with the disc, getting that inside break.
And yes, it was a very quick point, but again, if you're thinking about the clock, that's not the type of offense that you want Seattle playing right now. You would rather slow the disc down and take time off the clock. At this point now, Super Bloom with a chance, still a lot of clock left in this game. That point only taking about a minute in order for Tempest to score. We are seeing the Super Bloom O-line back out there looking to score in this game, get back into this game. Great pull again by Chena Titcomb. Disc is picked up. Willis with the disc now in the middle of the field. Finding Abrams. Resets back. Back to Willis. Willis sees Diaz streaking deep, looks off. Now looking at the middle of the field, finds the reset in the middle of the field to Abrams. Abrams now looking for the reset, finding Maldonado.
Salvation on the sideline, able to get it back to Jones in the center.
Now Jones holding, resets back to Maldonado. To Diaz. See the switch coming from Seattle Tempest. Iwamoto trying to go up line. Great D by Seattle.
Francis Gellert with that D. You know, it was a tricky little cut from Iwamoto, and then Gellert able to keep
immediately
an eye on
a deep
the disc.
look to Gellert. Gellert falling down, making sure that she secures the catch. Now looking for Steph Lim. Steph Lim now looking downfield. Throws a little too far, but unable to come down with it. That would have been a great grab by Rodenberg, trying to haul in her 4th goal of the day.
Yeah, looks like the intended target was Erheim, and then Rodenberg making a great bid for that disc in the end zone, trying to save it, but Super Bloom again with a chance to maintain this as a hold.
Abrams unable to hang on to that disc, giving Seattle Tempest the disc about 15 yards outside the end zone. Chena Titcomb directing traffic, getting them into their end zone set, looking now for the front of the stack. Rodenberg sneaks over to the open side. An open look because the D collapsed. Rodenberg throwing the disc to Cassie Wong. Seattle starting to feel it.
Yeah, an amazing, quick, clean end zone set from Seattle Tempest. We did see, a couple turns on this point for San Diego Super Bloom, and we will see another O-line for Super Bloom getting ready on that field. Let's see a replay again of that. Sheena Titcomb to Rodenberg, and then right to Cassie in the
And
end
Abrams
zone.
knows what happened. Abrams bid on the disc when they should not have bid on the disc, and because of that, it allowed Rodenberg to have the open break side look. Cassie Wong, smart enough to understand, just stand there, I'll get the disc. You know, as we start to see this game start to come to its close, we are seeing Super Bloom really kind of losing some of the discipline that really got them into this game. And it's an unfortunate timing for them to be losing that discipline. But hopefully, perhaps, we might still be able to see a comeback. There's still 9 minutes left in this game. An opportunity for Super Bloom to claw its way back in. The lead is 5, not insurmountable, but 5 right now. Tempest once again coming on with the zone, trying to find Pajunas. Pajunas now, disc on the middle of the field, goes back to Iwamoto. Iwamoto now going to the far side.
Salvation snagging that disc.
Back to Iwamoto. Back to Maldonado. To Pajunas. Looking for a deep look. There it is. Will it connect? The disc is hanging.
Oh, an amazing grab from Salvation. Another bid. And that was a put from Kristen Pajunas to Julia Salvation in the end zone for another layout grab.
That's what you have to do. And Pajunas, this is Pajunas' first time on the stat sheet. Pajunas has been relatively quiet all day, but finally seeing a streaking player deep. 4th goal so far for Salvation. Salvation ensuring that if this game is going to go down, it's not going to be without her say.
Exactly, and that I think was a huge point for San Diego. I think they needed that win with the score now 15-11, still in it with 8 minutes and 23 seconds left. But Seattle, you know, up until this point, definitely setting the pace of the game, and Super Bloom needing to, as you said, crawl their way out of this hole, but also assert themselves as the team that they are, which is championship final worthy team.
Disc landing just out of bounds. Russell going to be picking it up, taking it to the brick mark. Looks like we have a junk look coming out of San Diego. Again, Coach Angela Wells and Alicia Stone, known for their various looks for defense, hoping to try and see if we can generate a turn. You're seeing some aggressive movement by Ellis to try and sag into those lanes, putting on a bigger mark. And Pajunas almost with the layout grab. Linnea Sue hauling that in. Disc now on the far sideline. San Diego continuing to sort of seemingly play in this junk-style offense. Hannah Kawai having found Ambranovich. Ambranovich now dropping it back to Russell. Russell back to the middle of the field. Hannah Kawai now over to the far side. Linnea Sue with the disc. Now you see Hannah Kawai streaking to the middle of the field. We're about 15 yards outside the end zone. We now see Person coming out of San Diego. Some pressure now for Russell. Russell now looking for the reset. Tries to hit Amy Kawai. Wow. Okay. Well, so what you just saw was it's seemingly just going off of Hannah Kawai's hands. That was a great put by Russell and just went off of Kawai's hands, giving San Diego a chance at life. We see a
outside down throw from Lang to Iwamoto.
Iwamoto now getting the disc in the middle of the field, finding Pajunas. Pajunas looking downfield, finding Kayla Hilton. Kayla Hilton seeing a streaking receiver, but doesn't throw it deep. Now trying to hit Iwamoto. No, resets back to Pajunas. Pajunas in the middle of the field, looking for Lang. Lang now on the far side of the field. Lang has it in arm. No one going deep, though. Now with Ellis. Ellis back to Lang. Lang is now looking to the far side of the field. Still not looking downfield, not looking for the deep. Finally, we see Kayla Hilton striking deep, but there is a call.
Looks like a pick call on the field. Makes sense. It was getting a little messy there with the handler's space.
So we're coming in on 2? Okay, we're coming on 2. Freestyle, 4, 3, 2, 1, disc in.
I want to see a deep look.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they need. Lang trying to reset to Iwamoto, just not able to convert. Great D by Linnea Sue. Now Tempest on offense. Hannah Kawai resetting the disc back to the middle of the field. Disc now to the far side. Ambranovich with the disc. Kawai now with the disc in the middle of the field. Pajunas guarding. Resets to Ambranovich. Ambranovich throws over the top. Hits Russell. Russell now throws. hits Kayla Helton. Kayla Helton with the D now. Now, disc going the other way. Iwamoto in the middle of the field. Alex Diaz trying to figure out where to go. Pajunas trying to figure out where to go. Pajunas getting the disc. We have one receiver downfield, not getting hit. Kayla Helton now getting the disc underneath, but no one striking deep for Helton. No help coming right now in the deep space. The resets are all behind the line of scrimmage. Kayla Helton throwing to Pajunas. Pajunas now still also at the line of scrimmage. Most of the offense within about 10 yards of the disc right now. Not seeing those type of deep looks. Kayla Helton putting it on her shoulders. Gets the deep look. 7 yards outside the end zone. Sees out on the outside. Puts a throw ahead to, who is that?
It is Amanda Rutland, and that is the cutter that we saw open in the deep space a couple times on this point and just looked off. But finally, Kayla Helton, seeing that Rutland is streaking deep, trusting her and shooting it for the score. That was maybe not the cleanest offensive point for San Diego Super Bloom, but they were able to grit through it and punch it in for the score. Our score now 15-12, and here we see Rutland securing that last point.
And you see now it's Pajunas and Helton understanding that this is where the game has to go. Helton understanding it, putting her head down and striking deep, and Krista Pajunas with the trust throw, understanding that you have an incredible receiver in Kayla Helton and really trying to claw their way back into this game. Again, they are playing tight lines. Kayla Helton is still on the line. Kristen Pajunas is still on the line. Ellis is still on the line. These players are being relied on to try and get them back into this game. Will they do it? Pajunas with the pull. Tempest now picking the disc up. Tina Titcomb centering to Julia Snyder. Julia Snyder looking for a receiver downfield. Centering back to Tina Titcomb. Tina Titcomb looking for Steph Lim. Steph Lim now going back to the middle of the field. Kayla Helton not able to come down with that D. Erheim with the disc in the middle of the field. Back to Tina Titcomb. Tina Titcomb now looking to the far side. And just an uncharacteristic low throw.
And
Cassie Wong unable to come up with it.
Lexa Stamba streaking deep, exactly what Super Bloom needs, but not.
No one else prepared for it, though.
Not yet the look that the throwers are looking for. Still isolated cut.
Avery Jones now centering to Ellis. Back to Jones. Seeing some switches coming out of Tempest, really disrupting the handler movement. Now we see coming up line, Helton and Pajunas at the same time. Now, Helton unleashes to Pajunas, says, your turn now. The disc carries too far. Helton, a little too far for Pajunas. Now the disc back in Rodenberg's hand. Disc is now centered back to Wong, but dropped 5 yards outside the end zone. Avery Jones is picking up the disc, looking outside, throwing ahead. Get it too far.
I think on that look, San Diego should have maybe taken a breath, waited to set up a little, but what an exciting play. I understand the urge to, on such a close turn to the end zone, pick it up, throw it for the score.
Or just be annoyed right now. I'm just annoyed right now.
I know, that was a lot of hard work.
All right, seeing the switching happening. Another turn for Seattle Tempest. Now Alexis Stamba holding the disc, giving it to Pajunas. Pajunas about 15 yards outside the end zone, swinging around to Ellis. Ellis has to lay out, unable to lay out to get that disc. Disc now back in Super Bloom's hands. The clock is no longer Super Bloom's friends. They need to convert in this score. So, another turnover from Tempest. I'm not sure what's going on. I can't feel the wind, y'all, but Pajunas picking up to Helton. Helton now with the disc. Helton pointing to the end zone. Disc now centered back to the middle of the field. Kristen Pajunas now acting as a handler, coming back. And we hear a timeout called.
Oh,
mercifully,
goodness.
Angela Wells with the timeout. I'm not sure why that timeout didn't come sooner. We have lost a minute of play, but the clock has stopped. The clock shopping for us at 2 minutes and 47 seconds. 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in this game. Can Super Bloom score and close this gap?
I mean, they better with this timeout. The looks that they've had so far, they are knocking on the door for this score, and this timeout is going to ensure that we have the right players on the field who will be able to use, I'm assuming with how close we are, they're going to go into their end zone set and they're going to work it all the way for the score. But of course, Tempest is not going to make that easy for them.
And you can already see Kayla Hilton is not going to be one of your subs during this timeout. Kayla Hilton's going to stay in this point. I would not be surprised if you see her play every point for the remainder of this game. Kayla Hilton understanding that the drive to score is high.
Exactly. And we see also Pajunas laying Jones, Iwamoto, Weinkenker, and Stamba on the line for this offensive look out of the timeout. And we see Seattle waiting. I'm not sure if they took too many subs on that, Seattle. I feel like we see, oh, I see Jamie Erickson coming in, wasn't previously on this line.
And that's a great call by Seattle, right? Just put some height up there.
Yeah, I think that's also Ari Lozano. We see them coming in as well. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah,
for
a very
Super Bloom.
defensive focused line. We see Lindsay Lang picking up the disc, looking for the reset, can't hit Iwamoto. Now looking for the reset again, hitting Avery Jones with the scuba, looking to the far side of the field. Kayla Hilton well guarded by Erickson. Disc now back to the middle of the field. Iwamoto 10 yards outside the end zone, looking for another reset, hitting Jones back in the middle of the field. Lindsay Lang dropping back. Iwamoto. And we see Kayla Hilton just outside the end zone line and throws the little cheeky throw back into the end zone.
And that is Weinkenker for the score.
Who was that for the score?
Number 12, Neha Weinkenker, was just there for that cheeky little dish from Kayla Hilton, able to punch it in. That's exactly what you want to see for Super Bloom out of the timeout. And there we see again.
And credit to Angela Wells for finally maybe opening up this roster, right? This is the first point I think I can recall her playing and making an impact immediately. If you watched yesterday's game, you would have seen an amazing point block made by this player last night. And now 2 scores to go. 2 minutes and 28 seconds left in this game. Seattle Super Bloom down 2 points to Seattle Tempest, who will win the inaugural WUL championship. We will have that decided in the next 2.5 minutes. Again, 2 minutes, 28 seconds left on the clock here in the stadium. Super Bloom throwing the disc out of bounds, seemingly on purpose, to be able to try and preserve the clock, is what I presume.
A good strategy as we are this close to the end of the quarter, and Super Bloom needing to make up at least 2 of those points to go into overtime, 3 to win it all.
Clock still at 2:26 left. Hannah Kawai starting the disc in the middle of the field. They are about 25 yards outside the end zone. Hannah Kawai immediately throws the break to Shira Stern. Shira now looking for the reset, finding Hannah Kawai in the middle of the field. Hannah Kawai now looking downfield, not seeing, finding the reset, and Ricarte. Ricarte now swimmingly trapped on the sideline. Ricarte now resets back to the middle of the field. Hannah Kawai with a big break, and the D, not the D. Kristen Pajunas almost getting the D. Ricarte picking it up. Ricarte throwing it to the end zone, and the Tempest score.
A truly amazing effort by Pajunas on that D, but Seattle Tempest able to get their hands on it and maintain possession for the score, bringing us to 16-13. Tempest leading with a second over just under 2 minutes left. Let's see that again. We see that layout D from Pajunas, got a hand on it, but not enough to stop Seattle Tempest.
You know, and this is going to be a question, especially as we think about next year, the decision to throw a short pull and giving Seattle only a short amount of space to have to score. You know, these are decisions that coaches are making, and coaches are constantly playing around with this rule set. It has been an incredible, fun experiment to really see how we utilize this rule set to our advantage, and it's something that I hope the WUL continues to tweak on, because it seems to be a really fun rule set to play with. Here, Seattle Super Bloom now playing against that zone. Again, smart decision by Tempest, wanting to slow this disc round down, wanting to force Super Bloom to make a lot of passes. If I'm Super Bloom, though, I need someone striking deep. You see Kayla Hilton holding back in that deep space, waiting for someone to throw that disc deep. Now Tempest going into person, finding Iwamoto. Iwamoto now looking downfield, looking for Kayla Hilton, unleashes a deep look. That is well guarded. Kayla Hilton coming down with it 6 yards outside the end zone. Kayla Hilton looking for help. Kayla needs someone to try and get the disc, puts the disc up into the air, and it is caught. It is caught.
An amazing play by Hilton and Salvation. Iwamoto seeing Hilton deep and trusting her, and then Hilton with that fantastic jump ball, and then a beautiful button hook throw from Helton to Salvation.
Helton really making her mark on this game now with 4 assists in the game, 3 coming in this quarter alone. Helton understanding the importance of carrying this team on her back, and then with the very creative throw to Salvation, understanding you have an incredible receiver who just hauled in her 5th goal of the game. That is who you put the disc out to. Kayla Helton, again, unsurprisingly, back on the line. We are now with 1 minute and 17 seconds left in this game. Can Super Bloom get a turn? That's what they need now. They need a turn, and they need it fast. We're going to see, are they going to do a short pull, or are they going to do a long pull? Really, we're about to see. Has Angela Wells decided to instruct the team on the same? Yes, she is. The disc is out of bounds again, only 20 yards outside the Tempest end zone. Again, I understand the need to preserve clock, but this is only 20 yards now for Tempest to have to score. Let's see if this gamble plays off, and I will tell you, it is a big gamble right now.
Quite the gamble, but definitely trusting in Super Bloom's defensive capabilities.
Kate Songer right now on the sideline. Jamie Erickson now trapped on the sideline, looking for a reset. Resets back to Songer. Songer now looking for the reset, doesn't get it. Looking for Cheryl Sue. Cheryl Sue going to the middle of the field. Disc is now in Cheryl Sue's capable hands. Cheryl Sue throws to the far side, not in. Ari Lozano with the disc. Ari looking, throws over the top, and a score for Seattle Tempest by Kate Songer.
A really great end zone performance by Seattle Tempest. I think those short pull strategy from Super Bloom is maybe it's not going the way that they want it to, and I want to see that adjustment made from the coaching staff, realizing that, you know, as you said, preserving time is useful, but at this point it looks like Seattle Tempest is loving this short pull.
It might be the nail in the coffin, perhaps, for Super Bloom, but let's see. I mean, we have seen quick scores come out of Super Bloom. If I'm Tempest, I'm coming down in a zone right now just to stop them. There is 1 minute exactly left on this clock. 1 minute left on this clock. Let's see what happens. Disc is rolling. Disc stops with about 55 yards to go. Again, not surprised, comes down in the zone. Willis now has the disc. Back to Iwamoto. Iwamoto holding the disc in the middle of the field. Swings to the far side, looking for the deep look. Lang unleashing a deep look to Diaz. Can Diaz track it down? Diaz cannot track the disc down.
That disc really trailing to the other side of the sideline, and both Helton and Diaz in the space, but not able to reel it in.
Clock having stopped because the disc went out of bounds. Hannah Kawai now picking the disc up, unleashing a deep look of her own, finding a receiver. Alex Diaz comes into space. Kayla Helton comfortably comes down with the D. Now, Kayla Helton unleashes their own deep look. Looking, Hannah Kawai.
And Avery Jones coming down with that sky in the end zone, bringing us to 15 points Super Bloom to Seattle Tempest 17. What an amazing play. Let's see that again. Helton putting it up to Avery Jones. And then
just great body positioning against Amy Kawai, and just coming down with perhaps the last gasp that is Super Bloom. Again, another chance to see what Super Bloom does with the clock. Understanding at this point they are still down 2. Avery Jones at this point with 2 goals, 1 assist.
And we see Avery Jones staying on the line makes sense. What incredible energy to keep on the line. Joining her is Helton, Pajunas, Iwamoto, Lang.
And once again, now this time the disc lands inbounds. The clock now is going to start moving. Waiting for Tempest to show up. Steph Lim picking up the disc, immediately finding Cassie Wong. Cassie Wong now looking to reset the disc. Steph Lim striking up line, not in just yet. Steph Lim just on the doorstep of the end zone. Disc now in the middle. Julia Snyder with the disc. Clock winding down, and another Tempest score.
And that is...
And it looks like our clock was off, but it looks like our clock actually ended. That was the final point of this game. Seattle Tempest, your WUL champions, besting San Diego Super Bloom, hometown favorite in a final. 18-15. You see the celebration starting. There is a award ceremony that we're about to engage in, but credit to Seattle. This is an undefeated season for them, going 8-0 with just an incredible depth. You know, I'm looking at the stats right now. It looks like 10 players caught goals, 9 players caught assists in this game. A very complete effort by this team. Again, very, very well coached. 3 incredible coaches coming out of Seattle, putting this team together. No slouch, of course, to San Diego. Also an incredible coaching staff out there. But a lot of questions are going to have to be asked about that decision to throw the short pulls in the last waning minutes of this game, and how that strategy perhaps did not pay off for San Diego.
I would agree. We've seen that strategy notoriously from Utah Wild throughout the season, and then it looks like San Diego Super Bloom tried to implement that in this last quarter, and I'm not sure it was the best strategy to stick with through the end of the quarter. And just congratulations to Seattle Tempest. As you said, so many players contributing to this win. An amazing team, a roster pulled from across multiple club divisions, multiple teams, and really brought together by this coaching staff, and undefeated for the first season of the WUL.
Certainly, you see the final bracket, Seattle, the #1 seed, coming in and doing what they came here to do, which was to win a championship. Seattle besting Super Bloom here in this final, here on Championship Sunday, here earning now the inaugural trophy for the WUL. The commissioner, Felicia Yang, known as Commish Lish, walking onto the field, getting prepared for the award ceremony at this time. You see the players all thanking our female and non-binary observer crew, and also know again that we had a female and non-binary broadcast crew and a majority of female and non-binary camera crew as well. Much love to Ultiworld for making this event happen, showing you this footage, coming up with these replays. Much love to a lot of our sponsors, certainly Breakmark, Discraft. We thank you all for your support and for being a part of this journey. This journey has been, by the way, for me, as the board president, by the way, a 3-year labor of love. And it's incredible to be here to witness this. And we are now going to go downfield to Chena Titcomb, another board member on the WL board, down there with Katie Killebrew.
Hi, I am Katie Killebrew. I'm here with Chena Titcomb, one of the captains of Seattle Tempest, the now champions of the inaugural WUL season. What are you so proud of? What are you most proud of this season?
Q, she, her pronouns. Great to be here. So proud of this team. I feel like very much a team effort. And when I think about what allowed us to go undefeated this season and then go 2-0 this weekend, it's like all 30 players on our roster pushing each other every single weeknight, Wednesday night and Saturdays at practice. And then here, like running completely open lines. So everyone got the same PT across the entire roster. And so that means like we had legs to like really push San Diego. And I think that's what brought us this win.
When you think about what this league means for women's ultimate, for non-binary players, what are you most proud of for what the league has done this year?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to be proud of. I think what I'm proud of is just that we're building. And I think that just acknowledging that we're not perfect and we're figuring it out. There's actually no blueprint. There's no like successful league out there that we can go and say, hey, like this is exactly how we want to be. Of course, like the WNBA, NWSL, these are all amazing leagues, and we definitely look to them and see how they're, achieving great things. And also we need to figure some stuff out on our own. So just being humble in that, learning from our mistakes, and trying to improve.
Awesome. And so if there's one player on your team who doesn't get enough media attention that you think should, who should we be looking for in the next season for Seattle Tempest?
Ooh, that's such a tough one because everyone is so amazing. Well, everybody already knows Sam Rodenberg, I think the highest scorer in the league for sure. She just catches a ton of goals. I feel like to me, yeah, like Cheryl Sue, I know she's got a lot of assists and a lot of goals, so it's not like people don't know her. But I feel like she opens up the field with her throws in a way that's just game-changing. And she warps the field when she has the disc in her hand. What I mean is that like things are more open in different areas, which makes the defense have to like really adjust. So for future years, keep an eye on Cheryl Sue. She's awesome.
Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy celebrating with your teams. Congratulations on being the champions of this first ever Western Ultimate League Championships. Congratulations on your undefeated season, and we will see you hopefully here next year.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much, Katie, for that interview. You can see Seattle Tempest being awarded the inaugural trophy for the WUL Championship. You can see just how well Chena Titcomb contributed to this win. Chena Titcomb, very modest, understanding the depth of team and of notions of team, and being able to understand and replicate the fact that this is a team effort. Again, we're learning a lot, mainly from the players, about the Tempest philosophy and team culture. Hearing about these open lines, you could see it, and it's reflected in the stat sheet as well. Chena now rightfully being able to join her teammates and their teammates to celebrate the fact that they have won the inaugural trophy. They will also be getting some championship shirts, courtesy of Breakmark, our sponsor for this league. What are your takeaways from this game?
I think Seattle Tempest, as we said, tight-lipped about their strategy, but one thing that they did impart to us before the championship weekend is that they rotate through even lines, both these lines ready and willing to play both O and D, and that's what Chena was referring to in the interview, saying that they give equal play time, and that worked in their advantage all weekend, all season.
And against a formidable opponent in Super Bloom. Again, Super Bloom has got to feel like they just left a lot on the table. Obviously, you had incredible play coming from your normal playmakers as well, including Iwamoto, who was just laying out all over the place. This is one of the easier throws for Iwamoto. You can see layout after layout grab, really trying to maintain possession, keeping Super Bloom in this game with these very nice touch throws. And then, of course, you see layout Ds coming from the remainder of Super Bloom, really trying to make this an effort from everyone. Iwamoto, again, another layout grab. I recognize it's a losing effort for Super Bloom, but there's a lot for Super Bloom to be really happy about, wouldn't you say?
I would agree. Super Bloom having an amazing record this season, coming into finals, giving Seattle a run for their money. They came in as the underdog, given Seattle's undefeated record, but they used their key players and then opened up the lines as well to use the depth of their roster to keep neck and neck with Seattle through most of this game. And just a huge shout out to the coaching staff as well. Benjamin Edo, Alicia Stown, head coach Angela Wells, assistant coach Carlos, all being there to help with strategy with Super Bloom and make those adjustments.
And this game would not have been possible without some of the incredible plays that we saw, one of which we're about to get a highlight of. Jamie Erickson with the tip play of the game. You see Avery Jones coming up with the Mac, Erickson with the layout grab. Earning the Discraft play of the game. What a great grab by Erickson. Really actually highlighting the beginning of that run that Tempest started to make and pull away. This game started tied 4-4 at the first quarter. Seattle up 1 by the end of second. And we were seeing the coaches celebrating on the sideline and just chipping away lead by lead. Final score, Seattle Tempest besting Super Bloom 18-15 in this game. And like I said, if you enjoyed any of this coverage and enjoyed any of the fact that we are bringing you incredibly highlight level worthy, and I certainly hope we see one of these plays on SportsCenter in the coming days, you can help support this league and ensure that this league comes back stronger next year. We have a lot of fun announcements coming up in the coming days, so please be sure to stay tuned. This league is not going away, and we are incredibly excited to talk about what comes next in the future, but you can be a part of that future. You can help us get there. We want your support. We need your support. These women, these athletes, they need to know that you support them too. They are busting their butts out there. You heard Tempest practicing 2 times a week in addition to their other duties, in addition to the fact that they're working full time. Very creative by Tempest, use of the trophy. I see it. And we want to bring you more moments like this. We want to get you to get to know these athletes, get to know them both because of just their athletic peak abilities, but also because of just how much fun this has been. I had a great time. What about you?
Yeah, I have had a fantastic time through this championship weekend and through this season, being able to commentate. It's my first season ever commentating for Ultimate Games. And a part of that, as you were saying, is recognizing the amazing athletes on all of the teams for the WUL and being able to learn about these players that might have come across in club seasons in the women's division, mixed division, and seeing them all put on display for showcase games like this. Every single game in this season has been a showcase of the talent that we have in the Ultimate community. So please,
on the West Coast, let's be clear.
On the West Coast, you are correct. But please support the Western Ultimate League in order to continue seeing these amazing games, these amazing plays, and these athletes run their hearts out on the field for us.
It has been an absolute pleasure to share this afternoon with you all. We hope you had as much fun as we did bringing these games to you. Again, this is the Western Ultimate League. This is the championship weekend. We saw the #1 seed, Seattle Tempest, best the #2 seed, San Diego Super Bloom, in a league involving 7 teams. Will there be more next year? We'll have to find out. We hope that you stay tuned. We hope that you continue to support this league, support these athletes, support this organization, which is committed to bringing visibility to women and non-binary athletes on the West Coast. Your support will help us get there. If you have the means and the ways, be sure to continue to donate, because we are coming back at you next year, y'all. We are out. We've had a great time. Thank you to our host, San Diego. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to this crew. You have been crushing it. Thank you for being out in the sun, and we will see you next year.